Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Pro Football Corner with Nick. I'm your host, Rudy Rodriguez Showmont. We got another doozy for you here. We got one about Aaron Rodgers. Aaron freaking Rodgers.
A-Rod.
But for those of you who are new to our channel, please be sure to like, subscribe, ring that bell, leave a comment. This is our football section. A lot of stuff going on in the NFL right now. The draft is coming up in a month. Obviously, we had some conversations about the draft. We will be talking more about the draft as we get closer to it, even though I utterly despise the NFL draft. It might be one of the worst events of the year, but there are people that absolutely love that shit, and I don't know why.
How?
I don't know why. It's the most boring thing on earth.
Gotta wait. How long? 15 minutes between every pick?
I don't know why it takes you. You've been.
You know who you drafted.
You know who you're drafting.
Wait.
If you're the top 5, you know who the fuck you're drafting. Why do I gotta sit around here and it should take you 30 seconds?
Rudy,
you know who you're drafting.
You have a draft board. You look at your draft board. Who's on? Is he still on there? Is my top option still there? Okay, he's not there. Who's the next option? Okay, what do I need? Okay, I'm going to get that person. Oh, I didn't think he was going to be there. Oh, all I need is 3 fucking minutes to decide that. Let's get the fucking show rolling. Oh, excuse my language. I apologize.
Yeah, so, sorry. Yeah, I mean, obviously, football is coming around. We know the draft is coming up. And before you know it, heck, I don't even know when the hell OTAs start. I don't know when the voluntary ones. I'm sure are the voluntary ones already going on. Who the hell knows? Is anything really voluntary in the NFL anymore? It's all voluntary, right? Anyhow,
if you're a sports player, you know what voluntary means since you were 6 years old.
You better be there, or you have a problem.
I mean, I can't technically on the book say you got to be here, but. You better bring your behind.
But yeah, so we got Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers is the talk of the town or the NFL. And we already talked about the fact that for a second we thought maybe he ends up in Pittsburgh replacing Justin Fields. We did a video on that last week, and it'd be a trade-off of quarterbacks. There's also the fact that the interest from the New York Giants to replace Daniel Jones. But it seems like the place he wants to go is the Minnesota Vikings and potentially replacing Sam Darnold. And there's a report that if he doesn't get that offer, that he might actually retire. Now, we talked about Sam Darnold last week. We talked about JJ McCarthy last week. A lot of people had their panties get up in a bunch over comments on JJ McCarthy. I don't know what the hell that man did to cast a spell over you people in Minnesota. But man, you guys are easily fooled. Yeah, I said it. Y'all are some easily manipulated folk up in Minnesota. Because you guys had a dude that took y'all 14-3. And I understand he didn't get the job done. There's only one team that gets the job done every year. And the Minnesota Vikings have never, ever gotten the job done. So you want to get mad at Sam Darnold because he didn't get the job done? I mean, and you think that JJ McCarthy is going to get the job done? But now Aaron Rodgers, we know that Aaron Rodgers, when he got talent, can play.
Do we?
I think with the year before he went to the Jets, where did the Packers go?
They didn't make the playoffs.
They didn't? Are you sure?
I'm 100% sure they lost to the Lions. No, they beat the Lions. Whatever, but they didn't make the playoffs. Remember, they needed to win at the end of the year.
Yeah, then it was the year before that, right?
Yeah, they went 13-3 the year before that. The year after that, they struggled.
Okay, let me pull this.
Aaron Rodgers didn't come to camp. He was doing his Aaron Rodgers stuff.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So they were 8-9 his last year in Green Bay, but the year before that, they were 13-3. Year before that, they were 13-3. Year before that, they were 13-3. Didn't he win the NFL MVP? Yeah, he won the NFL MVP his second to last year in Green Bay, and his third to last year. I mean, he won the NFL MVP at 37, and then at 38.
Rudy, do you like him or do you not like him? What pick a side.
I can't stand
pick
him.
a side. You like him or you don't?
It's not about liking him. I think he's an asshole. But I also know that the Jets are where quarterbacks going to die. And I never thought the Jets situation would work out. In fact, I said that multiple times that it would never work out. And the guy blew his Achilles 4 plays in with the Jets. So that's got to be tough on a 40-year-old man. But
yeah,
I got to think that if you've got Justin Jefferson playing wide receiver and your team was 14-3 and that team was damn good, if you were the Minnesota Vikings, would you hand the ball to JJ McCarthy or would you take a flyer? One final flyer. Remember, McCarthy was hurt last year, so he never actually practiced, right? If he's hurt, he ain't practicing. It's not for the year.
I think you're asking me a question: do I want to eat shit? Do I want to eat shit or do I want to eat poop? I think that's what you're asking me a question right now. Do I want to eat shit or do I want to eat poop? I think both of them. I think one is shit and I think one is poop. I think when you're a 42-year-old quarterback or you're going to be 42-year-old quarterback and your Achilles is barely hanging on by a thread, you could barely move and you hold every team hostage. You don't go to OTAs. You got to go smoke up a doobie and roll up and miss everything that you get a chance to miss. And you're not a part of the time where you need to be with your players to build chemistry. I don't think that you're a good player anymore to be able to miss those times. You know what? Because when you get older, it's harder to continue to be great not because you just got older, it's because it's harder to muster it up every day, to go to the gym and go and put in that extra work because you just don't want to do it anymore. It's just time consuming to keep doing it, what it takes to be great. And I think he's past that level, Rudy. We've seen that last year. He asked for Devontae. He got Garrett. He had Breece Hall. He had weapons, Rudy. He's done. He's not the player he was anymore. He was okay at the end of the season.
Devontae Adams mid-season. He didn't get Devontae Adams.
That's what he cried for. He went on every show. I got my guy. He was tossing it up, living the life. And
didn't they also fire the coach mid-year?
Lazard. You don't think he had a part of it? He got Lazard. He got everybody he wanted. He got Randall Cobb, Cortland Cobb over there in Green Bay. He got everything he wanted the past couple of years, and it's been below average.
Okay,
average. I'm gonna give him average. And then his headache.
He didn't play the whole year. One of those.
He's a headache. He's doing everything Brett Favre did that you didn't like that Brett Favre did when he was at the end of his career. He picked the Jets. He's going to pick Minnesota. And he left Green Bay. He held every team hostage every year. I'm going to retire. I'm not going to retire. I'm going to play. I'm not going to play. I'm going to play. I'm not going to play. Oh, what am I going to do? Everybody look at me. I'm going to make a decision. I don't know what decision I'm going to make. Everybody wait for me. I don't know. Come on. I'm that good. You're not that good no more. We don't have to wait for you anymore. We don't have to wait for you anymore. We're going to move on. We're going to get a younger player. We're going to get a better player, and we're going to build around him. We're not waiting on you, Aaron Rodgers. We're not on your time anymore. I don't like that. I can't not stand that about him. He's been a freaking nuisance to the league for the past 5 years, Rudy. It's time for him to go ride, go take his horse, go do his whatever that shit is he took over there in Egypt, and get into his own mental state and live life, enjoy life away from the NFL. I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it. I don't want to hear about Aaron Rodgers every week of a player who's falling from grace of not being a good player anymore. I'm sick of it, Rudy. I don't want to deal with it no more. Every day on Monday they talk about Aaron Rodgers. Why? Because he played for the Jets. They're not good. He's not good anymore. That's why they moved. The Jets got rid of Aaron Rodgers. He's that good. The Jets, who cried and clamored for him, would have kept him. They'd have found any way to keep him. They gave him money to go away, Rudy. Aaron Rodgers.
So Devontae Adams played 11 games, and he averaged 78 yards receiving per game.
They win.
He had almost as many yards as T. Higgins did in Cincinnati.
Yeah, Devontae can still play. He's not the problem.
And he also showed up middle of the season. He wasn't there to begin the season. He didn't go through workouts either. Garrett Wilson had 101 catches for 1,104 yards. Breece Hall, who you just talked about, like he's the second coming of fucking Eric Dickerson, had 876 yards rushing. So I don't know what talent we're talking about with Breece Hall.
Breece Hall was a good running back before he got there. Maybe the injury didn't have everything he had before, but he showed some moments.
He showed some moments. His entire career has been with the Jets. What are you talking about?
What I'm saying, he showed some moments this year back from the injury. He tore his ACL.
When did he do that? I don't know when did he do that. In
Year before last.
2022? Because in 23 he played 17 games and
Year
rushed for
before last.
994 yards.
That's why they went and got Dalvin Cook, because they wanted to make sure they have some insurance before they fully let him off the hooks.
Dalvin Cook wasn't even there.
Early in the year he was.
Yeah, well, he didn't get one carry.
Yeah, because Breece Hall came back from his injury quite early.
All right, so their defense was pretty trash as well.
Yeah, because my offense sucks. Your offense is not helping them out. They're not continuing driving. They're not sustaining drives. It's not just one-sided thing. It's a team. You work as a unison. So you need your offense. You need your defense. Everybody has to work together. Offense, keep a drive going. Defense, get a 2 and out. It all goes together. Can you continue a drive? Can we run the ball? Can we have a 10-play drive? Can I get a break on defense? Or is it 3 and out and my ass is back out there covering somebody going a 50-yard bomb on me again? I'm tired. I'm exhausted. Come on, help us out. I didn't see that from the Jets last year, man. I haven't seen that from a team with Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback the past 3 years. It's been 5 years since he's been a great quarterback. We're in 2025, 2021, I believe. Come on now. And he's 42 coming up.
It's not been 5 years.
The time is running out.
He was the MVP 4 years ago.
I said 4 years. I changed it to 4.
Changed it to 4.
I said 5, then I said 4. You love him. You bring him over here to the Miami.
I don't love him. I think he's a fucking weirdo. What makes me dislike him more than anything is the fact that I listened to First Take and listen to Stephen A. Smith take his fucking scrotum and just throw it down his throat and swallow it, and always refer to him as the bad man. And I always thought it was utterly preposterous the way they made it sound like he was the most talented player in the history of professional football, playing quarterback, and all I can do is laugh about that because I think he's been a great quarterback for his career, but not this unbelievable, second to none level talent in the NFL. Even last year, he was fairly accurate. He only threw 11 picks, but if you give him a team that actually, I'm sitting here telling you that I thought, I'm going to say we because I can't speak for you. I thought the Vikings letting Sam Darnold go at 27 to throw out their JJ McCarthy off of a 14-3 season, they're treating like JJ McCarthy is Patrick Mahomes squared.
I mean, Rudy, when you invest that high of a draft pick, eventually you got to let him go out there and spend it. You got to. While he's cheap. You got to. I don't like it. I'm not a fan.
But you can get Rodgers for 1 year for $20 million, $30 million.
So you're just saying never want to play JJ McCarthy?
I think JJ McCarthy's terrible. I think that he hasn't had it. If you're injured the whole year, how did you get any experience on the bench? By watching?
Well, Minnesota can't think he's terrible because they drafted him in the top freaking.
Well, we 15. Also know that what we thought about that.
Yeah, of course. I'm just saying
we had enough comments about that.
Their organization think differently and highly about him. They said he had a great preseason before he got hurt.
That's why most of these guys don't have any fucking idea what they're doing. We're gonna get a little reminder of what these general managers and presidents, who are all infallible and all-knowing, they know everything about everything.
Obviously, Saquon advertising and trading him, I don't think is realistic.
Are we positive that nobody's going to pay him that kind of money? Like, there's nobody in the draft. There's no free agents, receivers that they're either going to be going back to their team at $20 million.
I mean, who would you say would go sign up running back to that dollar amount?
You remember this?
Wow.
I'm only pausing because I don't want it to be pulled down and say that we had a copyright thing. So,
but
you remember this?
Why would they let that even go out? What?
Well, it was on Hard Knocks.
I know, but they have authority to stop what they don't want to go out there and show it. Rudy, That's how bad their organization is, that they let this information get out on national television for everybody to see how incompetent they are as an organization. And anybody could have seen that. Ray Charles could have seen that. Stevie Wonder could have seen that their offense and their team was made by Saquon Barkley. His talent was undeniable. Everybody's seen it, but these freaking efforts in this.
There's not one guy in the room. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 6 people we can see in the room.
They were playing chicken with the market. So they're basically saying that nobody else is going to do it, so we can underpay them. We can kind of skim off the top because nobody else is going to see the value in a running back nowadays. We just don't pay running backs that much. So we'll be able to get him a little cheaper and give Daniel Jones an extra $1 million in his pocket.
So let's continue.
A team that's, anyone that has money to spend.
There's a lot of running backs in free agency.
Yeah, but are any potential difference makers really? Like after you watch this film?
Even if Saquon's number one on your board, do you imagine anyone's going to have such a gap between Saquon and Jacobs, Pollard, Henry, whoever else?
Oh man, Rudy. The fact that this got televised, Rudy, I just where my matcha at, man?
That they're going to want him at $12 million a year or minus whatever we're willing to eat and send a draft pick.
Right. And then
that one guy there that they just showed, that young guy, I think that was the one guy that was against this.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was the one guy that was against this.
if we did, what would somebody realistically give up?
I just think all the teams that need a running back are going to look at Saquon. Do you feel good about eating?
Who is that guy? You know who that is?
No. I don't know who he is.
I don't know. Do you feel good about eating a $3 to $4 million for a fifth round?
$3 to $4 million for a fifth round pick? Like I wouldn't.
I don't know. There's no guarantee we can trade it.
This has to be one of the worst moments in NFL history. After, I mean, even before we foreshadowed this was bad.
You know, having the needs that we have in a $12 million, 27-year-old running back.
Damn. They made it seem like he was 39. And a 27-year-old running back. Oh my God, what are we gonna? He's so old. The wear and tear on his body at 27. Give him some gray hairs and a walker, and that's basically the running back you described. 27, guys, y'all know that's young. He's in his prime. He's technically has another 3 years of running back time of being prime time. You don't pay him. I'll pay him the highest I can for 3 years. And then after that, I'll be smart. Hey, Saquon, let's be realistic. 3 years, I'm going to pay you as much as we can. We'll see about it after. That's just being realistic about how the running back market is, and usually the wear and tear of your body and being able to just manage and keep going forward. That's not what they did. And Rudy's still laughing. Oh, boy.
Just on the Saquon thing.
I just got a text that Chicago's driving the price up and Philly's out. I don't know if that's true or not.
Your intel is bad. Intel is bad.
Which I don't know if I'll make a couple of calls. I don't even know if that's gonna happen, but
I have a tough time.
Look at this guy on the right here. He looked like he about to shit on himself. he got up there like, I'm gonna have a tough time. Then he goes to Philly.
I'm sleeping if Saquon goes to Philadelphia. I'll tell you that. As I've told you, just being up. I've been around enough players. So, but he's the most popular player we have by far.
yeah.
Listen here. Listen here. Listen here. Listen here.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find this. Okay, here we go. This is the last one.
That's just embarrassing.
I only bring this up to
To
show
say that
the
GMs are-
absolute lunacy of how stupid these GMs are, and they think they know everything, and they have no fucking idea. every person in that initial room should have been fired if they have not been fired yet.
Rudy, and it's not even that, you can
Every single one of those people, except for that one guy, I think, who didn't want to let him go.
and it's okay to be wrong. You're gonna be wrong on players, but it's how you talked about him, how you made it seem like he was just not a good, like he was just okay, he's irreplaceable, like things like that. You could say, hey, I'd rather you say, hey, I just don't think we should allocate that much money to a running back position, and we could build our roster other places and develop somebody else. They might not be as good as him, but I think the other pieces around will make up for it. I'd rather you say that than what they said in this room right here.
Saquon,
Yeah, what's up?
you doing all right?
Yeah, I'm chilling, just chilling with the fam.
You in Jersey right now?
Yeah, I'm good right now.
Yeah. How's the off season been? You doing anything?
Yeah, I'm good. Travel.
This is like a dude calling his girlfriend and to break up with her on the phone because he's too much of a pussy to go see him in person. To go see her in person and do this shit like a man and go see her in person. This pussy motherfucker. I don't even know what his name is, by the way.
Is that Mara?
I don't know who he is. He's the GM, I think. I don't know his
Or
name.
the
I don't
owner's
even care.
Mara. The
I'm not
owner's
a
Mara.
Giants fan. I have no idea. I'm not a Giant, so I have no clue. This guy's so much of a pussy. He didn't call Saquon and say, I need to come see you in person.
Joe Schoen.
Is he still employed?
I'm pretty sure.
Jesus.
Just trying to get back into the grind, off-season trainings.
Yeah. All right. So I just talked to Ed Barry, and I think just mulling over this, the right thing to do is let you test the market and see what your value is. I don't want to do the franchise thing or all that stuff again. I don't want to go through that. We've both been through that. If you really want to be a Giant for life and you're interested in staying here and coming back, just see what your market is and then have Ed come back to us and we'll see if we can come to an agreement.
All right, I appreciate that.
Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Can you give me your word on that, or you're not going to give us a chance?
What do you mean? I'm just circling back.
Yeah.
I mean,
Can you give me a chance? What?
You want me to go test the market and talk about coming back to you? No. You tell me what you think of me, because right there you just told me what you thought about me.
I got a 10. I got a 10. And I'm gonna tell her, go test the market and see if you can find a dude that's got $100 million and drives a fucking Lambo and a G-Wagon and a Rolls Royce and has a 5-bedroom, $10 million condo in Miami Beach. Probably more than that now.
Open the door for me.
And all this stuff. And my life is I get to go shopping every fucking day. I'm gonna go let you test the market.
Go ahead. Go
and hope you circle back around
and come back and say, hey, there was nothing better out there. I want to be with you. Or just
tell you where I want to be. So.
Okay. All right. Well, let's do that. We'll go out and see what the market says. I think it's the right thing to do. I love you, man. I appreciate everything you did for the organization. The 2 years I was here, and I'm not saying we're not going to get something done, but I think it's right if for some reason it doesn't work out, that you know that the organization thinks the world of you and everything you've done. But hopefully, you go out there, you see the market, and you say, you know what, I want to be here, and you give us a shout back.
All right, I appreciate you.
All right, Saquon, I'll talk to you. All right, bye.
Got off that phone call and said, all right, don't worry about me. You won't hear from me.
My only purpose of showing those videos was to remind people how these GMs and presidents of football teams think they know everything, think that they are infallible. And then let's remind ourselves one last time. Let's remind ourselves one last time that Saquon Barkley rushed for over 2,000 yards.
Could have broke the record.
And if he'd wanted to break the record, he probably would have broken the record in
against
Game 17 against the Giants.
Against the Giants.
And he rushed for almost 6 yards a carry, 13 touchdowns.
Probably
and even if that is the greatest season of his life, which probably will be, he won a Super Bowl
Worth it.
his first year in Philadelphia. I mean, you can't write that shit better. And I'm not saying that Aaron Rodgers is going to go win a Super Bowl in Minnesota. What I'm sitting here saying is I am not entrusting my team that was 14-3 to JJ McCarthy. I'm not. I just can't. This guy has not shown anything. He wasn't even able to practice.
He practiced a little bit, Rudy, before he got hurt. So
He got hurt in preseason.
Yeah, so he had practices before.
He had 3 weeks of preseason.
So yeah, before the preseason game, he practiced. I'm not on his side. I'm just saying on the organization side, they say, hey, we seen the guy. We like what we seen. It was enough. Because we weren't getting those reports from Trey Lance. It was like, man,
Didn't the Vikings learn anything from the Green Bay Packers being in the same division and how you manage quarterback situations?
Bring them along.
3 years.
The thing about that, you have to pay that quarterback. You have to pay that quarterback without ever seeing him really doing his thing. You get a couple of preseason games.
I'm just saying you know that he's your future guy, but this need to thrust these guys. If Sam Darnold had gone 9-8, I wouldn't have an argument. I wouldn't have a debate. It wouldn't even be a conversation. My problem is the man was 14-3.
He played good football. You got to give it to him.
Like, if anyone had told you that they're going to go 14-3, you would call me crazy.
They're probably the over-under was for them to lose more than 9 games. 9 games.
And that would have been if JJ McCarthy had been quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
He threw for 4,300 yards. He has Aaron Jones in his backfield, who was from Green Bay, no less. Justin Jefferson to throw to. I mean, you got weapons for this guy. He played his first few seasons with the Jets and the Panthers. I mean, it is mind-blowing. And realistically, they were 2 points from being home field, having home field. They lost on a field goal with 15 seconds left to Detroit. In their first loss they had versus Detroit in Minnesota. If they win that game, they're the 1 seed.
Mm-hmm.
And that game at the end of the year wouldn't have mattered.
They're playing at home.
They would have been playing at home. It's very weird. And they wouldn't have had to go to LA to play in the playoffs. I don't know. That's my only thought. I think that Aaron Rodgers is probably a better 1-year stopgap to me than JJ McCarthy. But I'm sure all the Vikings fans are going to sit here and tell me that I'm crazy. And y'all love y'all GM. But y'all GM is no different than this fucking idiot here with the Giants who told Saquon Barkley, go test the market. How much did Saquon Barkley sign with the Philadelphia Eagles for?
I want to say about 15. I've been wrong on numbers a couple times today, so
yes, clearly.
But around that, 14.
2 years, $41 million.
No, that's his new contract. That's his re-sign.
He already re-signed?
Yeah, they gave him an extension.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, so they didn't waste their time messing around.
No, they married him. They said, "Hey,
they didn't mess around." They said, "You know what? Even if you suck, we're not gonna fuck around and find out."
But we know you don't suck because we had you last year. So, we already got our return on our investment by winning the championship. Whatever else after this is butter, baby.
Yeah, he signed a 3-year, $37.7 million deal with Philly with $26 million guaranteed. That was his initial contract.
So about 13 million, 12 and a half, 13.
Good for him, man. Good for him. I hope everyone in Giants land is fired. But I would take a flyer on Aaron Rodgers because there's no way in hell if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I want to go play for the Giants.
You might as well retire. Unless you just need to check. If you want to check, if you want $30 million, go ahead and go collect it.
Might as well retire.
Go to the Big Apple, go do Broadway and be on Pat McCaffrey's show every week. Because I know teams are saying, hey, listen here, you're not gonna do that show every week. Like, if you come to our team, we gotta set some damn boundaries. You can't just go.
No, he has to go to camp. If he's not going to go to camp, just hit the brook. Hit the road.
Camp and no Pat McCaffrey. Because
the Pat McAfee show, like, get the fuck out of here. Enough of that
Yeah.
shit. Like, that's stupid. That's just utterly stupid. I can't stand that shit. Can't stand that shit. I hate that shit. I go, you know how I feel about these athletes on podcasts.
Mhm.
I think it's just I just think it's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
I think it's an absolute recipe for disaster.
But the tough part about that, like, they could be playing video games, but some of them are just blurting out stuff that they shouldn't even be saying on this to give content. Like, it's just simple as that. Like, Rudy, they can't play football and practice all day long. They could do other things. If they're not playing video games or whatnot, they can do a podcast. But you gotta be smart about what you're saying and understand it. A lot of this is people are just waiting.
They're not.
Waiting to come back and dissect everything you say and turn it against you. And then how does that affect your locker room? Now look at the Cowboys. You got everybody turning on Michael Parsons, like,
As they should.
Is you don't do shit but your podcast and you do everything else besides bring what we need you to be fully your undivided attention to winning games. Get paid enough for this to be your main focus.
Look, for folks that don't understand, and I'm going to put this in the simplest of terms. If you don't watch women's basketball, you won't understand what I'm talking about. But I've spent the better part of the last 2 months watching unrivaled women's basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And there have been women who have gone on record, and they played their games on Friday, Saturday, and Monday. Their games are an hour long, if that. And they would, when they practice, who the hell knows? But you got players that say that they get in at least an hour a day of a workout.
Yeah, that's not enough.
Per day.
That's not enough.
Now, again, you're telling me you're a professional athlete. You're telling me that you as a professional athlete is working out 1 hour a day.
No.
And I'll even say if it's 1 hour a day on top of your team practice, which you can only do so much practicing in 3-on-3 setting when half these players were injured, and I don't even know what you really could do. Holy shit. Oh, you missed that. I'm watching the Warriors game. It's a 6-point game with 2 minutes to go. Steph just fell on the ground, kept dribbling, got up and shot a three from the top of the key, and it rimmed out. But you're telling people that you're pressing an hour a day. Like, think about how much work a guy like Kobe Bryant put into his craft.
Rudy,
He would work out twice before the team worked out.
Rudy, the man was getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, practice, go to sleep.
And we're not talking about bullshit workouts. We're talking about he does game workouts. Like the moves he's going to do in a game at that speed, at that ferocity, that intensity. And these women are sitting here talking about, oh, I work out an hour a day. I work out an hour a day.
Yes.
I am not a professional athlete.
No.
Fuck it. Like, what are we talking about?
Rudy.
You're not even a professional athlete anymore, and you work out more than an hour a day.
Rudy, when I was in prime time working out football, I was waking up at 6 a.m. My trainer was nuts. I was waking up at 5:30, getting to the facility at 6. We started off by being on the basketball court doing some plyometrics, blah, 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 blah. That's for an hour, 45 minutes. We came in, we lift weights, old school lifting weights, change. He was an old school coach, so he didn't believe in lifting weights. You want to get strong, you lift weights. You ain't doing all this weak stuff. These people, I was going to say some other words, but I ain't going to say it. These fingernail things that people are doing. That's what I'm going to call it, fingernail stuff. Type of workouts. No, we was grinding for an hour and 30 minutes, 2 hours of lifting weights, pushing weights. And then we went outside and then we did DB football specific drills and sprints. 4 hours, 4.5 hours. I was 6 to 10. Then I left there And then I probably got in some more work at night with my friends and stuff who was a quarterback, and we did one-on-ones and stuff like that. I don't know how else to get better at something than keep working at something. If you don't keep working at it, you're not going to get better at it, especially when it's your profession.
I don't even know where I was going with this. Honestly, I forgot.
Sorry, I apologize. I think you were going. Go ahead.
Where was I actually going? Why did I bring? Well, I don't even know. I brought it up for a reason.
About them not putting in enough time.
Oh yeah, so Michael Parsons podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So in perspective, just to put in perspective, if these women are working out 1 hour a day, this is why I would ask you some of these questions about what's it like as a pro athlete. Because my thought process is it doesn't matter. So when people would complain, like these NBA players are notorious for it. You have a game 3 times a week. You stay in 5-star hotels when you're on the road. You're fed, you're transported. You don't have to do anything. Just show up. And yet during the week, when does the Miami Heat, for example, practice? Like 11 a.m.?
Mm-hmm.
Probably something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing. I think I've heard that. I'm somewhere.
Yeah.
11 o'clock in the morning. And they probably practice for 2 hours, an hour and a half, 2 hours. If I'm the coach of the team, if I'm the president of the organization, fuck Pat Riley, but if I'm the president of the organization and I see that I got guys that are only here for the 2 hours that the team practices, you're not going to be on my team. Like that shit bothers me. Like I expect you to take this job with the same seriousness as you would expect a teacher to do so at school, a lawyer to do so in their office, a doctor, any other profession where you're working 8, 10, sometimes 12 hours a day, which means you're watching film, you're making sure your body's in tip-top shape. I got mad respect for LeBron James. I mean, obviously, the man has to go through hell, plus I'm sure he has little assistance from pharmaceuticals. There's another report on that, by the way. Nonetheless, he has to spend a lot of money and put in time to be in the physical condition that he's in. Because there are guys that are half his age or 25 years old that can't stay healthy for a week. The point being is if you should be at your job all day long. You shouldn't be back at your house at 3 o'clock in the afternoon after you got there at 11 o'clock in the morning.
Really? I didn't know how to be a pro. I was that guy.
And that's a problem for me. That's a big problem for the Warriors. The Warriors lost. And that's a big problem for me. Because those types of things to me, they're disrespectful. But for when you look at a guy like Michael Parsons, I know how little NFL players actually practice now.
Yeah.
You got Monday off pretty much all the time, right?
You just do recovery. Monday's a recovery day.
So I come to the facility for you to put ice on my knee.
You do that. You might jog around. You get a little lift in.
For you to massage my ass. Okay.
Get a little lift in, little things like that. You jog.
How is lifting recovering? How are you recovering by lifting weights?
It's like scientifically, you're getting the lactic acid out your muscles.
So I can do that at my house, right?
Huh?
I can do that at home, right?
Yeah, but nobody does it at home. They're gonna go to the facility where you got all the equipment, so you can do that, and then you can go get your cold tub, you get your massage, all that stuff goes in together on your Monday day.
I mean, I presume that LeBron has all that shit at his house.
Oh, of course.
I presume if I'm making $25 million a year, I have a cold tub in my house.
You go get your steam room, you do all that stuff. Because
that would be all built in my house already.
You go out after the game, you got to get the little toxins out. You had a couple drinks.
So how much time does that take?
You probably do that for like 2 hours, and then you watch game film. You break down the game film.
How much game film do you think Michael Parsons is really watching?
Well, you have to watch it with the team, so that's probably like
on Monday.
Yeah,
because I thought whenever I hear they would say, "See you Wednesday," that means they have Monday and Tuesday off.
No. You're in Monday. You're just not taxing your body. You're watching the game film. They're breaking down the film. Tuesday you're off. Wednesday is day one of the game plan for the next week.
How much practice time do teams do during the week?
On the field stuff, hour and a
on the
half,
field?
hour and a half.
Hour, for the whole week.
And after the stretching and everything, you're really doing like an hour, 45 minutes, 50 minutes.
You understand that I practiced more in high school?
Hell yeah. They run you in the dirt in high school. And college, they run you in the dirt. When you get to the pros, you're like, oh my gosh, you don't have to do sprints all day.
And
You don't have to do up
you wonder
downs.
why motherfuckers can't tackle.
You don't have to do up downs all day. Like it's lovely. It's lovely there. You don't tackle. You don't.
So you're not in condition. You can't tackle.
I didn't say not in condition. We're running around, especially DB and receivers. You're running around.
You just said that you're practicing for literally an hour a week. So when exactly are they actually getting in? Is camp? Is the only time they're getting in condition camp?
Best time, but in the season you go from different things. So you do 7 up. You do like a fire period. That's your blitz period. You do your blitz period. First of all, you do individuals with your groups. Blah blah blah. You come back, break it down. You do your fire period, the blitz period, whatever, whatnot. You separate. You come back. Then you do maybe 7-on-7s. You come back. Then you come back and do teams, and then. But the special teams probably a little bit between each one of those sections.
How much time is all this? Like an hour?
Yeah.
An hour. All this you just did in an hour.
Hour 30.
Hour 30. I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna give you 2 hours a week.
Yeah.
And you're sitting here and you wonder why fuckers can't tackle anymore in football.
Bro,
in the NFL.
The tackling is because they took away most of the contact in practice, like the banging and
they can't tackle because they don't tackle in practice. You can't tackle. How can I expect a kid to know how to tackle if he's not allowed to tackle in practice?
So you have inside drills and stuff like that where you get a little bit of contact, and you probably wear pads one day out the week, maybe.
We wore pads when I was in high school.
Rudy,
4 days in a week. We would play on Saturday in the afternoon or Friday in the evening, depending on where we played. So if we played on Friday, Saturday would be no pads.
Rudy, we had rules.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we are in pads, full pads. Yes. Friday, we are not. We're in shorts and helmets because the game is on Saturday. Or if we played Friday, it would be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday is shorts and helmets. Friday, we play. And we practice 2.5, 3 hours. Every day. And it was 96 degrees outside at 3:00 in the afternoon.
So
back in the day, NFL teams had 2-a-days. They don't have them anymore.
That was not during the season, really. It was more.
No, that was during camp. During camp.
Yeah, we still have those. We still have those. So
you have 2 days every day.
Yeah, so one is padded and one is non-padded, or maybe the second one might be a walkthrough now, But early in the camp, no, I'm joking, but no, you do have 2-a-days some days, or coaches will combine it. So some coaches will have you do early practice and then a late one, but some now you do like an hour and a half, and then you take like a 30-minute break, and then you do the next hour and a half. So you don't
old guys must be like, these are the biggest pussies on the planet. But the whole point being is that Micah Parsons has so much time to be on a podcast. And the reality is he has so much time to be on. The whole purpose of this was to say, at the end of the day, Micah Parsons has so much time to be on a podcast because he doesn't fucking actually care about his actual job. Because if he cared so much about his job, he would know what every single offensive lineman does on every single formation. He would be like a robot clone of a Tom Brady or a Ray Lewis or one of those elite level dudes who you want, like there's something to lead by example.
So
and like I did a podcast the other day on Shaq. Shaq is sitting talking about NBA games, and he don't watch NBA games. He doesn't watch the games. He actually said that Chauncey Billups was the coach of the Pistons.
Yeah. And
he said that the Pistons were 4 games under 500. And in fact, they were 6 over 500, had won 7 straight games. They're the 6th seed right now in the East. They're a game and a half from being the 4th seed.
Rudy.
And you look at a guy and someone says, oh, well, he won championships. I'm like, he wasn't a leader. He wasn't a leader. Like, that's not a leader. Just because you're good don't make you a leader. There's no work ethic. And Michael Parsons has a work ethic issue to me, as you bring up, because if I'm a teammate, and that's what we talk about these athlete podcasts, if I'm a teammate and this motherfucker is not getting 3 sacks a game or in the backfield causing havoc the whole game, but he's on a podcast 3 days a week, and even if you're not the one editing it, which I'm sure he's not the one editing it, if he's on there for 2 hours a day, that's time. Like we've spent tonight almost 3 hours, and I'm going to spend another hour and a half editing before I go to sleep. And I got a full-time job. Like it bothers me as a person who watches football, watches sports. So he's got more time to do that shit. And yeah, WNBA players are kind of similar. They work an hour out an hour a day and then sit here and you wonder why they can't make layups. You wonder why they can't make layups. You wonder why people are excited about watching a 63-57 game. And I can say that's a good game when one team shot 34% from the field. Like in no world would that ever be good. Not mine, not yours. Like, and yes, Aaron Rodgers at this point needs to be willing to put that time in if he wants to play. Otherwise, hit the bricks.
I agree.
So,
I agree.
I just think those podcasts are mad dangerous for athletes. I mean, even Draymond Green last week made some comments about Karl Anthony Towns who missed the game because his fucking friend's mom died or some shit like that. Like, or he went to a family funeral. Like,
But you know what? I kind of like the spiciness of that because that's probably what's missing in the NBA right now, or a lot of sports, in sports period, where y'all old school said, hey, back then we didn't like each other.
no, I agree. That's fine.
That's what made it more entertaining. So I'm okay with the Draymond part to an extent. I guess, he didn't know the deeper details into it.
It's fake.
But
it's contrived. It's
what?
not real. It's not real.
That they don't like each other?
It's not real.
Yeah, that Draymond don't like him. Draymond don't like him. Draymond don't like him. You can tell. It's obvious. It's quite obvious. But, and the players are saying, this is what the players
I know Jimmy Butler don't like him.
This is what the players are saying. The players are saying, hey, we can be okay with each other off the court, but as long as when we go out, we're going to go against each other and we want to beat them. But it's just more it's just more appealing when you really just don't like that motherfucker.
No, I want to see
Paul Pierce, LeBron. They didn't like Cage.
I want to see Heat Knicks. I want to see that, dude. UD and fucking Paul Pierce still can't stand each other.
I had some people that, I could muster it up.
Like they can probably, if they act like adults, they can probably sit down and make amends. They'll never be friends, but they'll never, like the comments that Paul Pierce made about Udonis Haslem when his jersey got retired in Miami. I mean, that was low blow shit. Like, I don't think Udonis Haslem is some Hall of Fame level player because you already know my thoughts on what they've done to the Hall of Fame. But as a Miami Heat guy, he's been there for 20 years. Yeah, they gave him 6 free years of money because he took less for about 5, and they made up the difference, and he basically stole a roster spot for 6 years. But nonetheless, I mean, even if he had retired at 14, they still would have lifted his jersey up into the rafters. Hell, they're going to lift LeBron's bitch-ass jersey into the fucking rafters. They just better not put a statue of that motherfucker down here. It's bad enough that I got to look at a painted nail Dwayne Wade statue now. I mean, I can't take this shit no more. Like,
is his nails painted on the statue?
I hope not.
I hope not. Who knows?
I mean, I think it's really funny that remember the Gabrielle Union bullshit where this guy was, she made these statements about how she hates Miami and she's never coming back here and she's afraid to live here because of when the DeSantis was elected or whatever or some shit like that and all that bullshit. And where the fuck are they right now? They've been at Unrivaled the last 2 days. I thought you were so afraid for your family, you lying sacks of shit. I can't stand that shit. This motherfucker's wearing sunglasses indoors at a basketball game. Man, take your fucking sunglasses off. What the fuck? Ain't no sun in there.
I'm bringing my sunglasses. Stupid. I'm bringing my sunglasses next episode.
Really?
Yeah, I forgot them in the car. That's the only reason I didn't have them on today.
I can't even see the screen right now.
But you look cool.
I can't. No, for real, I can't see the screen.
But you can't see shit anyway.
No, like legit, I cannot see the screen.
It's crazy.
No, it's that dark. I don't know if there's a polarized component to this. You know whose glasses these are, right?
Who those are?
Come on. You don't I ain't hard to find.
Oh my gosh.
You don't know whose glasses these are, right?
Who?
Are you serious?
I don't know.
We coming.
Oh, that's prime time? You got prime time glasses?
I bought these things the day they went out. These are dope ass glasses. These were the first ones he had.
I knew you liked Dion.
No, I think he has some nice style glasses.
Yeah. Okay.
He wants to have practice. He wants to have spring ball now against some other team. This is mind.
Syracuse said
Syracuse wants to do it. No, that's crazy.
I kind of like that. Kind of like it.
You got teams canceling spring games. And
He also said that. He said, I don't even know how long this is going to go on in spring football, basically.
I think spring football's stupid. I've always thought it was stupid.
Yeah,
I think spring football's stupid. I've always thought it was stupid.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I've never understood it. I mean, I get it in high school, but in college, I don't see the purpose of it.
You go back home.
These guys start practicing for the fall in July. Beginning of July. Their camp doesn't start in the middle of August. They're starting camp in July. They're in nonstop workouts all summer. They're with their coaches all the time. I don't see any purpose of having spring practice for 3-4 weeks. It just makes it's a waste.
Something to do. Something to keep the kids, working and doing things and not getting in trouble. That's just what that is. That's
in trouble.
Yeah,
they're all million.
They find a way to get in trouble, man. That's what they do.
Shit. But anyhow, I think that Aaron Rodgers should be signed by the Minnesota Vikings. I'd love to see it. But hey, you know what? I will give you an over-under if it doesn't happen. If JJ McCarthy is the quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings will not win 6 games. So Viking fans, if you've watched this far, 51 minutes in, after we've gone on a major tangent, 6 games if you have JJ McCarthy as your starting quarterback. Justin Jefferson by midseason will be wanting to unalive that man. That 125-yard noodle arm motherfucker, please.
We're going to find out.
But that's all we got for tonight. This is Pro Football Corner with Nick. We appreciate you. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, let us know what you think. And, LeBron still sucks.